So let's recap. This is the summary. And the summary says that when pyruvate is available after glycolysis, by which we have break down glucose and we have converted them to pyruvate, that is glycolysis, what should happen? Pyruvate is converted to what? Acetyl-CoA in the presence of oxygen, in the presence of, and we call it aerobic respiration. And we are converting this to acetyl-CoA because there is low amount of what? And there is low amount of ATP, and there is low amount, since there is low amount of ATP, there is what? Low amount of NADH. And since there is low amount of NADH and ATP, therefore there is high amount, they are in that, remember, they are indirectly proportional to each other. There is high amount of ADP and there is high amount of NAD positive. Whenever ATP molecule is high, ADP is low. Whenever NADH is high, signifying that ATP is high, NAD positive is low. And whenever NAD positive is high, therefore ADP positive is high, ADP is high, and therefore ATP is low and NADH is low. So our body only converts pyruvate to acetyl-CoA whenever ADP is high. And since ADP is high, ATP molecule is low and NADH is low. Therefore, we want to make energy. NADH and ATP is low, so they cannot do anything. So ADP is high and NAD positive is high. Therefore, they start stimulating the conversion of pyruvate to acetyl-CoA. And remember that whenever ATP molecule is high and NADH is high, what they will start doing is they will start inhibiting this reaction. They will start inhibiting. Inhibiting means they will not allow the conversion of pyruvate to acetyl-CoA. That is what they are doing. And the enzyme that is doing this is what? Pyruvate dehydrogenase converts pyruvate to acetyl-CoA. And this reaction is only possible whenever there is low amount of ATP and there is low amount of NADH. But whenever there is high amount of ADP and there is high amount of NAD positive, that is when this reaction is possible. Second process is whenever there is no oxygen, we call it anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration. So in anaerobic respiration, pyruvate is converted to lactate by an enzyme known as lactate dehydrogenase. And in lactate dehydrogenase, what are we doing? We are not taking what? In this same process, we are taking NAD, we are converting them to ATP. We are taking ADP and we are converting them to ATP. Why? Is because we want to make energy, but there is no oxygen, and we now call it anaerobic respiration. And we are producing this NAD positive because we want them to proceed more glycolysis that will now produce the little amount of energy that our body requires for that moment. So its pyruvate is also converted to alanine, if our body requires an amino acid. And this process is called amino acid metabolism. And which enzyme is doing that? An enzyme known as alanine transaminase is converting pyruvate to alanine. And what else is happening? If our body does not need this acetyl-CoA, there is too much acetyl-CoA in the body. And when there is too much acetyl-CoA in our body, there is too much ATP. And when there is too much ATP, there is too much NADH. And whenever all these things are too much, there is low amount of ADP and there is low amount of NAD positive. And due to this reason, acetyl-CoA will start stimulating. Acetyl-CoA does two functions. It will start inhibiting acetyl-CoA and ATP molecule. They are doing two things whenever there is a high amount of acetyl-CoA in our body, which is acetyl-CoA will start inhibiting pyruvate dehydrogenase. Remember, pyruvate dehydrogenase complex converts pyruvate to acetyl-CoA. So when this acetyl CoA is now too much, this acetyl CoA starts inhibiting this pyruvate dehydrogenase complex and starts stimulating pyruvate carboxylase. So what is pyruvate carboxylase doing? Pyruvate carboxylase is converting pyruvate to oxaloacetate. So acetyl CoA stimulates the formation of oxaloacetate from pyruvate by stimulating pyruvate carboxylase together with ATP molecule and inhibits pyruvate dehydrogenase complex because there is high amount of acetyl CoA and there is high amount of ATP molecule in the body. So that is now, let's test your knowledge. It's time to test your